So this game was really good, but definitely not as good as I remember it when I was a kid. I can see why some people don't like it, but I personally love it. It has its flaws and shit, and I'm obviously going to discuss that since it's a review. So here we go. First off, they added 2 whole characters to PSP version, which every time I look at PSP shit on like evolution of characters on YouTube, they always don't look very good. But when I looked up the roster, because I wanted to see who all was in it, because I didn't remember. But they have Carnage and Electro. I guarantee they were basically just reskins of Venom and Green Goblin, since Green Goblin has like that electric move that you can buy for 500. And Venom has the same thing for 500, so probably just looked a bit different, but played basically the same. Anyway, story is kinda not very good. Like, story starts off pretty strong. Like a 2-minute cutscene. And after that, it's just like 1-minute cutscenes. Probably less than that. I think maybe 20 seconds, maybe 10. And each character only gets shown like maybe once or twice. Like, except for the characters in the beginning, like Venom, Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Spider-Man, shit like that. They get shown at least 3 times. Here's 2 of the things, like, Venom threatens Spider-Man and says, once we find Bubble Man and beat him, I'm gonna eat you. None of that shit happens. So that's pretty funny. And I honestly wonder why they put Carnage in the PSP version when the ending, a friend or foe was setting up Carnage. Well, since they caused us a lot of trouble, let's call him Carnage. And Carnage was in the PSP version, so that doesn't really make sense to me. What else? Harry was in there for a little bit, then he just disappears. And that was obviously S.H.I.E.L.D. doing it. So why'd we get him when we beat Mysterio? Also, the voice actors probably aren't that good in this game. I think Spider-Man, Doc Ock, and Mysterio are the best. Green Goblin tried really hard to be William Dafoe, the guy who played him. He probably only sounded like William Dafoe with his first 2 words, though. I mean, he kind of sounded like him, but his first 2 words, he sounded a lot like him when you first see him. I mean, not when you first see him during the boss fight, when you first see him, when he throws the pumpkin bomb, then he talks to you. A lot of the cutscenes were just as good as I remember to when I was a kid, like when Rhino runs towards you and then Spider-Man dodges it in this badass way. And they kind of just use the phantoms as like stupid shit, like, oh well, this character's cool because they beat up a phantom. Like, Lizard beat up 1 phantom, and then Nick Fury's like, oh, he has to join us. Iron Fist beats up 1 phantom and then he joins you. Blade beats up like 2 and then joins you. Spider-Man beats up 2 before he becomes the symbiote thing. I really don't understand this. Like, how can there be the meteor shards and the symbiote? Doesn't really make sense. Some of the dialogue is absolutely hilarious in a good way, and some of it's just like hilarious in a bad way. Like, I don't think they were trying for it to be hilarious. Like, when you beat Sandman on, I think it's like the first stage, when you get him to a certain amount of health, he says, hey, that hurt. Like, that doesn't make sense. That's just retarded. No villain's gonna say, hey, that hurt after you punch him. Then there's ones that was absolutely awesome, like, there was this one with Spider-Man and Sandman. Man, it feels good to be a superhero. And then Sandman says, man, it feels good to punch a superhero. Um, there's one with Scorpion and Spider-Man that I'm trying to think of. Oh, yeah, it was Spider-Man singing something. I forget what he said. And Scorpion says, "How about you quit singing about it and actually do it?" Then there was one where Spider-Man started singing, and Blade told him, "Stop singing." And some of the insults that Spider-Man said during story were sweet. Like, Scorpion's pissed off that somebody took control of his mind. And then Spider-Man just goes, "Oh, so you're like this and that? But yet when you're in control, you dress up like a scorpion." But yeah, it's definitely not for everybody. They reused a lot of shit in this game. Like, I was excited to see everyone's finishers when they stunned those big guys and you press the B button. I'm playing this on Xbox 360. And once they get stunned, like, they're supposed to get different finishers, but Doc Ock has the same one, Venom has the same one as Doc Ock, Rhino has the same one as both of them, Blizzard has the same one as both of them, Green Goblin, Iron Fist, and Black Cat have the same one. Silver Sable, Blade, and Prowler have the same one. Spider-Man's the only one that's unique. The boss fights were fun, but a lot of them you had to use Spider-Man to beat the boss. Well, not actually, no, I take that back. Doc Ock's the only one that you actually had to use Spider-Man to beat. For a while you don't, but then at the end, you just have to jump in there and use your webs to throw people. Throw the boxes at stuff. They expect you to use Black Cat since they just gave you Black Cat. So if you don't use Black Cat and Spider-Man dies, like if you use Prowler or Silver Sable, you're kind of screwed on the Doc Ock boss fight. Found that out the hard way. Mysterio boss fight was kind of underwhelming. So was Venom's. Like, they're the two last people in the game. And the hardest boss fight was Sandman. Like, come on. Mysterio's was kind of annoying, but he wasn't that hard. Venom was brain dead easy, and so was Green Goblin. Versus is really fun. But this game is definitely a bit too hated. They actually put quite a bit of effort and a lot of moves for a fighting game. And especially for its time. They had like 3 different throws that you can use. They had the web slinging for Spider-Man. They didn't have to give that to him. They could have just did that in cutscenes, like the Batmobile in the Arkham series is what they did that. They just had the Batmobile in cutscenes for a while. They could have just had him use the web slinging in cutscenes. No, but they let you use web slinging. They give you like all this shit to buy with points with the web slinging. Like, you can buy all this web barrage, web shooter stuff, web bombs, all this shit. It was really fun. Definitely should have got a sequel. And I played this game before I even knew the Tobey Maguire movies existed. And speaking of Tobey Maguire movies, this continuity shit is weird. Like, we have William Dafoe's Green Goblin. And James Franco's Green Goblin. Together. When they're both dead. William Dafoe died in the first movie. James died in the third. How does this make any sense? How are they standing with each other? I did like the friendship and the few jokes in the beginning. They actually felt like friends in this. They did not feel like friends in the 3 movies. If we completely disregard that these people are the ones from the Tobey Maguire movies, they actually seem like good friends. Comes out of nowhere to help Spider-Man. makes a joke. He actually made several jokes. This one, I don't know how this was supposed to be based off Toby, when all this Spider-Man did was joke and was a sarcastic asshole. Like the true comic book accurate one. Tobey Maguire made jokes every now and then, but he didn't make jokes a lot for an hour-long movie. This probably only had like 10 to 15 minutes for cutscenes. And Spider-Man made way more jokes than Tobey Maguire ever did. Andrew Garfield's still my favorite though, and second, Spectacular Spider-Man from the TV show. Third, probably the PS4 one. He doesn't make a lot of jokes, but he does show a lot of the comic Spider-Man in him. I think that's about it. I don't like how the versus things, you have to get like those tokens and you have to find the place. Like, why can't you just get them when you beat the level? The levels are already really long and take quite a while to beat. It's a bit hard to get hero strikes. They don't just give them to you. Once you get to a certain point, you actually have to like destroy everything in your path and hope you get it. So, yeah. And also, Rhino's hero strike is just basically a fat attack. Like, seriously, they did him dirty. Blades was badass. Probably the best one in the game. Lizards was kinda lazy. I really like the hero strikes. But yeah, I wish there was a few more characters because the roster was actually kinda small. But I still enjoyed all the characters. I was definitely happy that they put lesser known characters, and I was definitely happy that Lizard wasn't considered a bad guy in this game. They didn't give him a boss fight or anything, he just helped Spider-Man. Because Lizard's not always a bad guy. So that was cool that they actually showed that side of him. Even though it was like one scene. I just can't believe that all the cutscenes were like one scene for the good guys, and then the bad guys got one where you first meet them and then one when you beat them. And that's kind of messed up. They promote the game with how the game starts, that 2-minute scene, and then you expect the story to be awesome like that beginning, but it wasn't. It was underwhelming. But the game was fun. I loved the ending. The scene where Spider-Man destroys the meteor shard was like shocking to me when I was a child. But now it's not. Like, it didn't really have any development. You didn't really feel anything as much anymore. This is just like, oh, it's two phantoms. Nick Fury said they're strong, whatever. He's Spider-Man. He can beat them. Plus, he has, like, webbing. He could just go away or something. Just slink away. But they try and make it dramatic. Though the scene wasn't dramatic. I remember the scene when he turns into the black suit being awesome. But it was kind of lazy. Like, they turned the camera away. Then you kind of see him transform. It looks way cooler in the movie, Spider-Man 3. The only cool part was, like, the ending of what Spider-Man says after he beats their ass. It was a pretty badass line. But this game wasn't as good as I remember, but it's still a really good game. And I would definitely recommend it. Right now I'm playing Hitman Absolution, so you'll expect a review on that. I need to review some of the PS4 games that I've already beaten, that I haven't made a review. So I'm gonna have to go through my reviews and start making some of them. I got MK11 and WWE 2K15. I can do one on 11. Not one on 15 yet, because I haven't really done story mode yet or anything. Because 2K15's combat and shit kinda sucks. It's kinda hard to get used to when I have 18 and 19. I mostly got it for just wrestlers that I like, and it actually has a few other ones that I like in it, like Alberto Del Rio and Bad News Barrett. So that's pretty cool. I mostly got it for CM Punk and Rey Mysterio, but pretty cool that those guys are in there too. But yeah, you can expect a review in MK11 probably soon. And Amazing Spider-Man 2, since I got that too. I got a couple Call of Duty games. Got Arkham Origins. Bunch of other shit. I got like 20 Xbox 360 games now. And I mean 20. Probably a bit more. So yeah, you can expect a lot of reviews coming recently. I have a bunch of movies I'm gonna watch. And I have a few movies I'm gonna rewatch. I'm gonna rewatch the Jurassic Park trilogy. Make reviews on those movies. And I have a bunch of movies that I wanna watch. I have a condo recorded. I think that's how you say it. I have a couple werewolf movies that I'm gonna watch on a TV app eventually. I still own Terminator 3 that I bought months ago and I haven't watched yet. Just haven't found the time. I'm on disc 4 out of 6 on season 3 of Gotham, so you can probably expect season 3 review soon when I finish that. There's gonna be a lot of shit coming. We might have some Injustice 2, MKX videos that are recorded with my friend Landon. And I have more Mortal Kombat videos to record. I have a couple month old Arkham City videos to record. I got some challenge maps that I need to do in Arkham City. Because there's a few that I haven't beaten with a few characters. And I still haven't beat all the side missions on that. I probably only beat a few of them. I beat Mad Hatter and something else. Victor Zaz is just a pain in the ass in that game with the phone call shit. It's just really hard to do for me. I'm stuck on Arkham Origins, so I'm probably gonna have to look it up. That's why I quit playing it. And then just beat Friend or Foe, because I knew it wouldn't take that long. Then started Hitman Absolution. But I'm stuck on that, so I'll have to look that up. Figure out how to get unstuck on that game. The game looks pretty good so far. But yeah, that's all I need to talk about, and that's what you can expect in the future.